Today I'm going to be reviewing Lionel's EMD SD70ace. I'll start out by briefly going over the history of the locomotive, then talking about and going over the features of the engine itself, and then I'll be doing a running session. So let's get started. So the SD70ace is the latest in a long line of SD70 models that EMD has been producing. It's a successor to the SD70 Mac, and they started building the locomotive in 2004 as a EPA Tier 2 emissions locomotive, and they built it through 2014. And then in 2012, they started building a Tier 3 emissions locomotive. And in the summer of 2015, they built a Tier 4 emissions locomotive. The engine produces, the engine has produced different amounts of horsepower. The Tier 2 was 4,300 horsepower, the Tier 3 was 4,500, and the Tier 4 is 4,600 horsepower. It's a competitor to the GE locomotive, and so now I'll talk about the features of the locomotive. So this particular model was released in early 2017. It has all the legacy features that the standard legacy features of the engine. It's got the crew talk, it's got the fan-driven smoke, it has the lighted number boards, the headlights, and the running ditch lights. It also has the lights that light up on the sides of the locomotive. That they project light on the sides of the engine. I can show you that when I start the engine up. One feature this engine doesn't have is the new Bluetooth. They didn't have that when this engine was released. I actually have the SD70ace Spirit of Union Pacific, the 1943, on order, and that will have Bluetooth. So I'm looking forward to playing with that feature. But I'm really impressed with the detail of the engine. I think there's a lot of details, a lot of features and details that I'll go over in the next segment. Starting with the side of the locomotive, we'll start at the front. You've got the steps here that are clearly labeled. The level of detail is incredible here. The steps even have the safety yellow tape to mark the edge of the steps. You've got the builder's plate. You've got the locomotive number right here. You've got the railing that runs the whole length of the engine. You even have the fuel tank with the fuel cap right here labeled in red. And the vent in the back here is actually, you can actually see through to the other side of the locomotive in the back. And here you've got the steps again with the clearly marked yellow ends for safety. And then on each end you've got the coupler release drawbar here and here. And up top you can see the horn. In the front of the locomotive you've got quite a bit of detail. You've got the ladder here, the metal rungs here for the ladder to climb up. You've got the metal handrails here and along here. You even got a little metal chain here that it's an actual chain. And you've got the air hoses in the front, and you've got the yellow striping here. You've got the running ditch lights, clearly labeled number boards with the headlight in front, and there's even some wiper windshield wipers and some more grab irons on the top of the cab windows. Now looking at the rear of the locomotive, you've got more of these metal ladder steps that run up to the roof, and you've got the metal railings with the metal chain right here running all down the side, and you've got some more grab irons on either side over here and over here. You've got the locomotive engine number here with the CSX logo, and this is the rear headlight when the engine is running in reverse. Under here you have more of the air hoses that they're very delicate, so you be careful not to touch them as they could break very easily. Now looking at the roof of the locomotive, you've got the radiator fans here, 3 of them here in the back. They're all free spinning fans that actually spin. They're not motorized like the fans on the Centipede that I like so much, but they are free spinning. If you kind of blow on them, they will spin. Then you've got the horn here. You've got where the smoke actually comes out right here. And then you've got the white cab on top. Okay, one last feature I wanted to go over with the locomotive is the cover pulls off and it's held on by one magnet right up here. And inside you've got the program and run switch, the Odyssey control, on and off Odyssey 2 control, and then you have the smoke that you can turn on and off. And then right here is the volume, the master volume control for the locomotive. So that concludes about this section of the video. I'm very happy with the detail of the engine, but probably my favorite feature of this engine is the idle sounds. I don't know if any of you have been next to a real locomotive when it's idling, but you hear these series of I don't know how to describe them, kind of, pops and noises like I don't know how to describe it, just like pop noises that an engine makes when it's idling. And Lionel has done a really fantastic job on replicating that sound. And I will run the engine on idle before I start my running session so that you can hear what it sounds like. But that's the sound is just phenomenal with this engine, and it's my favorite feature. So let's get started with the running session. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and start the engine up, and I'll let it run for a few seconds so you can hear that wonderful idling sound that the engine creates, and then we'll get running with the trains. So here we go.
This is the yard office. Do you copy?
I read you. Over.
Stand by for track orders. Over.
Yes, sir. Start up and stand by. Out. Dispatcher, am I cleared to the outbound? Over.
Copy that. Your route is lined and locked. Have a safe run. Over.
Acknowledged. I've got clear boards. Out.
Okay, so that concludes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. So until next time, we'll see you guys later.